The next morning, you wake up feeling fresh and rested. The night was demanding, but it did bear good results. The elf is sitting in a corner of the room. He's just as dangerous as you thought. You didn't hear him come in. He could have done anything he wanted. Instead, he waited for you to wake up.
Very well. Get ready. We're going south.
1,000 questions rush through your head, but you don't say anything. The first part of this new adventure is just beginning. The journey south with your silent partner was quite smooth. Nobody bothered you, and you quickly covered the distance separating you from Ismarin. The sentries spot you at the forest border. Recognizing your escort, they lead you to the rebels' camp without revealing his name. The elf is clearly respected and trusted. As you're accustomed to, you memorize the route to the clearing. Your Greystorm is treated much like a normal pet. After all, the camp is teeming with many different races, some you didn't even know existed. Everyone is partaking in the resistance against Leon. They have no idea it was Raymond who allowed these terrible experiments and warped their lives forever. The elf signals for you to follow him inside a pavilion. He introduces you to Raymond, the only man in the tent.
You must be Angelimo.
The wizard salutes you. And you must be Raymond.
Indeed. Our friend is telling me you helped us out quite a bit, so you're allowed into the resistance. I wanted to welcome you personally. Looks like your abilities as a hitman are noteworthy. I have a task for you. We found out there's a mole here working for Leon. He has killed several of our key men. Find out who it is and get rid of him.
Do you have any clues? You need to play along.
One of our wizards was able to survive an attack and wounded the man's arm. He lost this knife.
The High Wizard shows you a kris, a dagger with an asymmetrical curved blade.
He strikes on moonless nights, always within the village. We've been on to him for a long time now, but despite our efforts, he hasn't stopped killing the wizards of the camp.
Raymond explains. I might have a few options, you answer confidently.
Which are?
It's likely that the killer is the elf standing beside you, or perhaps a henchman working for him. In any case, he must be fully aware of everything. That's an issue you need to solve. He'll try to stop you, attempting to anticipate your moves. You could gather the wizards, though that would offer the assassin the chance to kill them all with one hit. Or you could take up a hidden position in the night in some strategic place on site, preferably somewhere high. However, they've already tried that to no avail. Finally, you could split the rebels up into several groups, camping around fires. Shifts of 2 guards at a time could watch over them. Still, keeping everything under control would be hard, and you'd risk the hitman changing his pattern. A moonless night is about to fall, and your main goal is to annihilate the resistance, not help it. What will you do? Let's gather all the wizards in the same tent, or perhaps a shed. That way, we'll know for sure where the hitman will attack, and we'll be ready to properly welcome him. Besides, if push comes to shove, he'll have to deal with all of us.
We'll need some excuse to summon them.
Raymond replies thoughtfully. After the last events, it shouldn't be too hard. A meeting is the perfect excuse. I'll be outside, ready for action.
It's a good plan, although it's a bit dangerous.
There's no way to avoid such risks.
You're right. I'm sure we'll get the assassin. Now, go and rest. This night will be a long one.
You take your leave, and your escort leads you to the lodging you've been assigned. He doesn't utter one word, keeping to himself. But you've already figured out that he has his own agenda. Eliminating all wizards would fulfill his revenge plans. Helping the rebellion means going up against Leon, who is a wizard himself. Will he try to stop you, or will he indulge you? He's obviously going to keep his eyes on you, and he'd kill you if he were to find out your real intentions. You sleep for a while on a straw mattress, waking up at dinner time. The other members of the Resistance wish to get to know you, exchange a few words. You can't see the elf anywhere, which is a bit worrisome. The evening is enlivened by songs and laughter, until Raymond summons all the wizards to his pavilion. The time has come for you to take your leave from your fellow diners and assume your position in the dark. You pretend to head to your tent. It seems like no one is following you. You hide behind a tree, seeking shelter in the shadows, far from the fires. You keep surveilling Raymond's lodgings, throwing knives at the ready, your short sword at hand. No one can surprise you from your position. However, you still expect such an attack and stay on your guard. Little by little, the campfires go out and the voices grow dim until they cease altogether. The rebels, all but the wizards attending the meeting, are going to sleep. Suddenly, a flurry of flaming darts hits the pavilion's roof and entrance, which immediately catches fire. Someone must have imbued it with fuel. The smoke soon spreads inside and the flames rise to the sky. The water wizards employ their powers to extinguish the flames, resulting in a thick cloud of smoke. The air wizards could blow it out, but they'd risk spreading the fire. They leave from the tent's only exit. The first wizard jumps out into the clearing, coughing, soon followed by another. 2 darts stab their chest, killing them on the spot. The hitman is precise and merciless. Will you let him finish the job and leave with your Grey Storm? Or will you seek him out and kill him to face Raymond another day? You make your way stealthily through the trees, looking for the hitman killing off all the wizards. You almost have him, but your mysterious partner blocks you.
End of the line, Ankalimo.
This man is dangerous. He knows too much about you and has been studying you for a long time. He might have spared you, if only you'd let him burn the pavilion. Now, he's ready to fight you, face to face. He's an elf, just like you, but he seems more experienced. You'll have to be clever to get out of this. You could hurl a knife at him. The attack would be swift, but clear as day. He could deviate the weapon and force you into a close-quarter fight. You could unsheath your sword and face him head-on. But you're an assassin, not a warrior. He might be more skilled at this. Finally, you could use your wrist crossbow, even though the dart is much smaller than a knife. A wise and clever move, which doesn't allow the opponent to study you. You raise your arm and in the blink of an eye shoot the dart, catching the elf by surprise. The arrow pierces your opponent's throat, and he drowns in his own blood. You have no time to look for Raymond now. The duel you just fought wouldn't help you look any better to the rebels. You've just arrived, and nobody would believe you had nothing to do with the ambush. You need to flee, abandoning your mission as a mole. You retrieve your Grey Storm and vanish in the night. You reach one of the most renowned cities of Kael'Sanar, the flourishing Balinor. However, its prosperity is merely a legacy of the past. The ancient Tower of Magic has mostly crumbled, no more than ruins. The town's citizens live in modest houses, they live off the land, and business only continues in the form of small trade. There are no guards protecting the city gates, and everyone moves away as you come through. Your journey was brief, and the sun shines high in the sky. If you've come for information, you need to know exactly where to look and who to talk to, as nobody will trust you. Unless you notice the bystanders belong to several races. No human still lives in the city. Therefore, you deduce the Greystorm is probably causing the diffidence. A witch now guides the crumbling city of Balinor. Leon didn't care to expand his dominion here, mostly because, as you can see firsthand, it's not worth it. Where can I find the witch running this place? You ask the crowd. An old man steps up.
Melius is in that stone hut.
He points at the only brick building still standing. All the other structures are made of wood. As you head over, you leave your ride tied to a pole. Nobody will dare bother it. Knocking on the door, it opens right away. A charming figure appears on the threshold. She's slim, with jet black hair and a young, sharp face. Her deep, almond-shaped eyes are breathtaking. Melius is an elf.
Well?
She has a brusque tone. I'm on a mission on Leon Munar's behalf.
Good for you.
She replies.
What do you want?
Information. She studies you head to toe and smirks, seemingly pleased.
Everything has its price.
You don't quite catch her meaning, but you accept her invitation to enter. The door closes behind you, and she welcomes you to a cozy room, warm and scented. It's filled with colorful furniture and innumerable books and stills. You also notice that the house is much bigger than you thought.
Can I offer you a warm beverage?
Nodding, you accept her offer. You turn your head to follow her, almost forgetting what brought you here. You observe as she fills the kettle with water, hooking it above the burning fireplace.
So, who are you, and what are you looking for?
She asks. My name is Ankalimo. Leon sent me to gather information on a lost artifact.
The Sword of Ruin.
How?
It's the only object that could interest such a wizard. The only thing that could turn his attention to Balinor.
You know where I could find it? You ask the witch.
You'll have to pay first.
How much?
It's been a long time since I've last had a male visiting this place.
I'd never turn down such an offer. But how can I trust you? I've only just met you.
You're clever.
She replies.
I like that in a man. I've been alone for a long time, Ankalimo, and you're a very attractive elf. I'm looking for a mate to share my bed with. Even more, perhaps. But the bed will do just fine for now.
The woman's earnestness floors you. There's no ambiguity in her voice. But you're not that kind of person. Her beauty, however, does have an effect on you. It'd only be a one-time thing, of course. Besides, Melius is a witch. If she wanted to bend you to her will, she'd have done so easily. I pale at your charm. I'll be happy to spend some time with you. She smiles and invites you to her bedroom. An intoxicating scent lingers in the air. It's been a long time since you've been with a woman. Well, you've always paid for it. You get lost in each other's arms, melting into a burning and passionate intercourse. You've never felt something quite like this. Your heart is brimming with joy, and the pleasure is all-encompassing. You wonder if Melius is using her magic to render everything better, if not more. What is this connection you feel to her? She's painstakingly beautiful, but that can't be all. You have no idea how much time has passed, and you're still in bed when she upholds her side of the bargain.
There's a collector of rare objects in Rost, close to the border. Somebody reported seeing the sword in his private collection.
Are you sure?
That's all I've heard. You'll have to find out yourself. Unless you wish to stay here with me, and let go of Leon's madness.
Her proposal surprises you. Suddenly, your world could change. Tempting as your offer may be, My lord relies on me. I'll be back once I'm done. You reply firmly. She shrugs, getting off the bed and putting her clothes back on. Her face is clouded.
What else could I expect? We just met, but life's so short for us.
She sighs. She pauses briefly and continues.
Go on your way, Ankalimo. If destiny wishes, we'll meet again one day.
You watch as her alluring silhouette heads to another room. Reluctantly, you get up and dress too. Part of you would like to stay, but Leon's mission is more important. After a few days' travel on your Greystorm, you reach Rost, a small commercial town bordering T-Bosch. The place is bustling with merchants and convoys. There are so many different races and animals that you and Gurkhan don't even stand out. Many soldiers are watching the village, but they seem bored and distracted. Rost is a quiet place, where guilds rule all trades. It's not a large city. It's merely a small town with a close circle of wealthy lords, of whom you can see the houses of, on 2 hills. You presume the collector you're looking for lives in one of those sumptuous dwellings. You approach a soldier to ask for information. I'm looking for a collector of precious items. They told me I could find such a man here. The soldier kindly points you to one of the houses you noticed.
Ask for Lord Gorlakin, but I doubt he'll see you without an appointment and with such equipment.
Oh, I'm just an envoy. I think the Lord will see me immediately, as soon as he reads the letter by my lord. The guard shrugs and loses all interest in you. In any other circumstance, you would have been flooded with questions. You finally head to the white complex, which contrasts with the pink one close by. As soon as you reach the supervised gate, 2 soldiers stop you and ask you for your identity and for your reason for visiting. My name is Ankalimo. I am an envoy of King Leon Munar. I would see Lord Gorlakin for business. You show your royal permit. The guard examines you and reads the paper.
Everything seems in order. You'll have to leave all your weapons here, though. Your animal can stay in the stables here.
Without objecting, you hand over all your weapons, even the ones you were concealing. You wouldn't want to give the wrong impression. They have to trust you. You take Gurkhan to the stables, escorted by the soldier who stopped you at the gate. They are extremely large and host several Greystorms like yours, as well as other creatures which seem to come straight from fairy tales. You assume the Lord is a magic enthusiast. This must be the right place. Finally, the guard takes you to the building's door. The property is teeming with people, mostly servants intent on all kinds of tasks. You can feel that everyone is happy to be hard at work. You take your seat in a large hall with chairs lined with burgundy pillows as the guard calls for his lord. You don't have to wait long. Leon's name is an effective means of persuasion. A tall and toned middle-aged man welcomes you. He has long, streaked hair. His face is marked by several scars, and as he stretches his hand to shake yours, it feels as if you're gripping a chunk of marble. He's definitely a former fighter.
Welcome, Ankalimo. I'm Gorlakin. So what do I owe the pleasure of a visit from Leon Munar's envoy?
His deep and kind voice doesn't give off any sign of fear or uncertainty. Thank you for receiving me without any notice, Lord Gorlakin. His Majesty sends me here for your collection of weapons and other rare items. He'd like me to see it before making an offer on some of your pieces. You say with friendliness.
Please, just call me Gorlakin. I don't care for lip service. I'm extremely honored for His Majesty's interest. However, I must warn you, not all pieces are for sale. But first, let's see if there's anything you are interested in.
He smiles and takes 2 crystal glasses from a sideboard. He pours an aged wine in both, offering you one.
My collection is so wide and full of history. will be parched by the end of it.
You raise your glass and toast with your host. The wine is of outstanding taste, and you sip it carefully, afraid it might inebriate your senses. After the welcome drink, Gorlakin takes you upstairs through a series of refined hallways and chambers. Hanging on every wall are weapons, suits of armor, and jewels of all kinds. None of them have any magical properties. They are just amazing artifacts of rare craftsmanship.
I took this during a fight in Athenios. It's one of my favorites. I made a fortune and got good fame, working as a soldier of fortune.
Says Gorlakin, visibly proud. You drink in all the information and keep your eyes wide open. Is there any piece you are particularly proud of? Gorlakin swells up.
Come with me.
You follow him to another hall with a glass display case. Hanging by a copper thread is a magnificent, polished rapier. 4 different colored stones are set in the hilt. You recognize it right away without having to hear his explanation, which simply confirms your theory.
This is the legendary Sword of Ruin. It's a magical artifact, the only one I know. It was forged years ago to stop the Emperor Triumvalo Tonor and was brandished by the mighty Daragast Lear himself.
What are its virtues?
It can hinder all the elements. Earth, air, water, and fire can't harm anyone wielding this blade. With this rapier, it is possible to face any wizard on a leveled playing field.
The Lord explains. Of all your pieces, this is the only one that could interest my lord. How much for it? You ask, getting straight to the point. The man shakes his head.
It's not for sale.
Not even to Leon Munar? You hope your lord's name might change the collector's mind. However, Gorlakin doesn't seem swayed at all.
This object is far too rare. Nobody could pay the sum it's worth, not even Leon Munar.
Name your price, Gorlakin. Lord Munar won't spare any expense.
1 million gold coins.
He replies, visibly upset. It's an unacceptable amount. Leon would burn down the old village before paying it. However, you need to put on a good face without revealing your intentions. It is a lot, but I'll refer it to my lord. Can we see something else in the meanwhile? Gorlakin calms down and resumes the visit. Meanwhile, you assess the safety measures the former mercenary has employed. Even though there is a lot of surveillance, many of the house's visitors are errand boys who supply the complex with provisions. You could sneak in the kitchen at night and steal the rapier. You exchange a few more words before Gorlakin personally accompanies you to the door.
I'll be waiting for your lord's reply then.
He tells you with a genuine smile, I'll need just a few days, and I'll let you know what my master wishes to purchase. You shake hands and you take your gray storm and head to a brothel. You need to relax and clear your head before you act. You leave your ride at the whorehouse's stables. It seems like any place here is fit to hold magical creatures. Rost is truly a bizarre town. Planning the heist took you all night. The prostitute you met was well worth the money you spent. Leaving Gurkhan at the stables, you take a walk around town as you most see fit. A light breeze is blowing in the morning air, and you ponder on what seems to be the best way to retrieve the artifact. The town seems like a mere backdrop for your grand deed. You know the Sword of Ruin, and you're sure you can't be wrong. Walking through the market, savoring its perfumes and scents, you familiarize yourself with what will be your stage. The people of the place, busy in their daily routine, walk right by you as you pretend to look around. Actually, you're keeping an eye on Lord Gorlakin's mansion. Ordinary lives keep cycling around you. it would be so easy for you to annihilate them. Your target is right beyond the market stands, over the white brick wall which separates the houses from the street. Your fit mind lingers on all possibilities, on the security flaws, and on the way you'll sneak in and get the elemental sword. Lord Gerlachen is a former mercenary. Like many other soldiers of fortune who spend their lives on the battlefield, he has a lavish lifestyle. A little before noon, the back entrance to the estate becomes the destination for many servants who bring food and rarities from all over the world. Hiding in one of the barrels would be way too easy. Once inside, you could wait for nightfall in the kitchen, then you could roam the darkened halls alone, take the object, and leave through any one of the windows. The plan certainly has some flaws. The servants bringing the barrel will be punished for sure, or worse. And you can't exclude any inspection, or assume that the servants themselves won't find you. Your eyes turn to the front facade of the house, which is kept under extreme surveillance. You notice a few attractive girls sitting on the garden's wall, talking and laughing. At least one of them will be spending the night pleasuring the lord of the house. Prostitutes are usually simple enough, fully aware of their social status, and easy to bribe. With some incentive, the right girl could leave a window open for the night, so you just have to climb up the house. Then, as for the previous plan, you'll head straight to the collection and take the sword. Of course, loyalty can't be bought with money. The girl could lie to you, and you might find a closed window and a lighter purse. Your last plan involves the lonely art of the shadows. You'd use all your martial training and distractions to get rid of the guards at the door, break in, and take out anyone who stands in your path to the sword. You wouldn't have to bet on money, but you'd have many more lives on your conscience, admitting you still have one. Besides, you'd risk running into Gerlachen if he'll be awake. You approach the group of girls who are talking gaily and laughing. They watch you with an elusive glance, and you decide to exchange a few words with them. You need to try and understand whether they'll enter the collector's home. One in particular looks interested in you, or at least in your purse.
Want to come with me tonight? I'll be a guest at Gerlachen's, but I don't like common foot soldiers. You look exotic.
She smiles. Could we discuss this someplace more private? You whisper in her ear. She accepts your offer and the two of you head down a deserted alley. The prostitute misunderstood your intentions and offers to pleasure you, but you're focused on the mission at hand. I need you to do something for me.
What?
Tonight, you'll have to enter the Lord's mansion. I don't care who you'll be with. Just leave a window open for me on that side. You point at the exact place.
It'll cost you a bit.
You hand over a satchel much heavier than she expected, and she stares at you. It's 20 silver coins. If you betray me, or don't do as I asked, I will kill you. Without giving her any time to reply, you turn and leave. You decide to wait for darkness by roaming through the town. You're well aware people will do anything out of fear, or for money. Night falls. From the alley you're hiding in, you spot a window being opened on the side you agreed upon with the girl. She upheld her part of the agreement. Now it's up to you. You approach the house stealthily and untie your rope belt. The buckle is a grapple, a clever way to hide the tools of the trade, yet always have them within your reach. Before throwing the rope, you take one last look around to make sure nobody is watching. Only lovers are awake at this time of night. Once inside, you find yourself in a room dimly lit by a lamp. No one is waiting for you. The harlot was clever. You spent your money well. You take one deep breath, grab the lamp, and head silently through the deserted hallways. Thanks to the inspection on the previous day, you find the room with the sword right away. You open the display case and take it, tying it to your hip. Now, you just need to retrieve your ride and leave Rost. Your mission was a success. Your only loss was monetary. You're now far from Rost. Before choosing where to head next, you preferred to put some distance between yourself and Lord Gorlakin. Unfortunately, you weren't fast enough. As you're running full speed with your Greystorm, a burning flash grazes you, stabbing the ground ahead. The Collector has many assets, including a squad of wizards at his disposal. However, you have an extremely powerful weapon at your side, and even the most powerful wizards get tired using their skills, just like swordsmen. Turning around, you see there is only one man riding a horse on your tail. He's wielding a staff and wears a fluttering red tunic. He's about to unleash another spell. Will you turn your ride and charge at the enemy? Run away as fast as you can? Or wait for the wizard to release his next spell, only to neutralize it with the Sword of Ruin? Hoping it will work, you unsheath the rapier and turn Gurkhan. You charge at the wizard who didn't expect such a bold move. He tries to attack you once more but misses. As you approach him with the rapier pointing at his chest, he hastily hurls another fire arrow at you. The burning dart hits the Sword of Ruin, melting it in mere seconds. This wasn't supposed to happen. You've been conned, but you can't stop to think about that just yet. You need to end this fight. The Greystorm rushes head-on against the horse, mauling at its neck and unsaddling the wizard. You turn Gurkhan to face the stunned man on the ground. The creature bites his head off, gulping it down without even chewing it. Perhaps the Collector himself didn't even know the sword was a fake. Otherwise, he'd never send a wizard after you. You reluctantly leave the rapier's hilt behind. You've just wasted your time here. Now, you need to choose your next move. You've finally finished tending to all your tasks. It's time to return to Remagast. When entering the city, you're recognized right away. Also, due to your Greystorm. First, you head to the inn where you agreed you'd meet with Sargon and Garrett. As the two come down the stairs, they nod at you. You approach them, smiling, greeting them as warriors. You sit down at a table and order breakfast. It's still early morning. So, how are you? How are you liking the city? You ask for small talk.
Warm and chaotic. Everyone's in frenzy from Satrapor's forthcoming siege here. Leon has put everyone to work.
Sargon replies. Well then, let's have breakfast and head over to him. At the palace, you're quickly announced in, and Leon welcomes you, smiling. He can't wait for the news you gathered on your mission. You kneel down before him, Sargon and Garrett behind you.
Welcome back, my friend,
Says the king. Thank you, Leon. It's a troublesome period. I hope I served you the best I can.
I'm sure you have. Now stand.
You all obey, and Leon studies your friends. These are Sargon and Garrett, the men I chose to guide your army. They're strong, reliable, and precise. They are extremely experienced and will follow your orders to the detail, if well paid. Leon smiles. They're mercenaries, but they seem perfect for your needs.
Very well. Now, wait outside. I'll have you called in a while. I want to know how you'll prepare my army. First, though, Kalimo has something to tell me.
The two bow down and leave the throne room. You'll face clouds. Not all missions went as Leon would have wanted.
So, Kalimo, tell me.
Should you tell him about the Resistance first? Or should you start with the Sword of Ruin?
Where is the Sword of Ruin?
I couldn't find it. I managed to infiltrate them, but I had to abandon the mission. There are a lot of them, some of them wizards, and Raymond is set on taking you down. But they have some internal struggles I could play out in our favor.
What do you mean?
I met someone who hates wizards, you included. He's killing all the sorcerers in the Resistance, and will weaken them.
Anything else?
No, Leon.
All right, you're free to go. Call for Sargon and then Garrett. I'd like to confer with them individually.
As you wish. You beat your fist to your chest, leaving the throne room. You head back to your friends. The king wants to speak with you. First Sargon, then Garrett. We'll meet up later to arrange the upcoming war, and on the battlefield. Good luck.
Good luck to you too.
Sargon replies.
See you soon.
Garrett continues. You leave the palace, heading to your lodging to rest. Soon, Leon will start issuing orders for the war. After a few days, you leave for Satrapor. The provisioning line is efficient, and the war engines work well. The army moves slowly, and the scouts explore the road ahead. It's no surprise to you when an enemy force intercepts you. Once Leon is informed of the issue, he summons his commanders, including you. He arranges everything for the battle, assigning you the task of leading the cavalry. Everyone takes their positions, waiting for the enemies. You outnumber them. Overwhelming them shouldn't be hard. However, the troops you're facing are well assembled. Among the enemy's cavalry forces, you see a massive Greystorm pack. A force like that will be hard to take down. Everyone is lined up. The silence is surreal. Then, the ranks start attacking, and the uproar of the war becomes deafening. According to Leon's orders, you'll have to wait. Leading the cavalry, you will intervene only when the battle is raging. You keep watching the situation until it's time to get in the fight. Should you go for the archers or the foot soldiers? Charge! You cry out, launching ahead of the cavalry. You charge against the archers, reaping them like wheat. Your Greystorm is a fierce colossus, relentless against the enemy. You take down many others with your short sword, one after the other. Everyone falls under your blows. Suddenly, your ride roars and collapses, unsaddling you. An arrow stabbed the creature right under the throat, killing it. The archer in question is a sylph who's about to knock in another arrow. Will you hide behind the Greystorm's corpse, or respond firing a bolt from your crossbow? Your Greystorm's dead now. There's no need to follow it. As another arrow flies against you, you jump behind your ride's corpse. The sylph is now close enough to engage in a one-on-one fight, but you might still prefer using the crossbow to respond. Unsheathing your sword and dagger, you pounce on her. The sylph didn't expect it, and you manage to break her bow. She jumps back, unsheathing her sword and a dagger. You both use the same weapons and start observing each other. The battle's uproar dulls your senses, but right now, it's as if you were the only ones there. Will you let her attack now, or will you try to surprise her once again? You pounce forward, slashing at her while parrying her attack. She tried to gut you with her dagger. Dodging your blow, she's fast, and she knows how to fight. Now, she tries to stab you with her sword. Will you dodge and counter? or parry encounter. With a sudden wrist movement, you parry the self-strike, responding with a slash. She's an expert warrior. She parries your dagger easily. You both jump back, glaring at each other. Right then, the battle tramples both of you. The resistance is retreating. You can't understand why they're retreating right now. But fire is raging on the battlefield, and Leon is bound to be the cause of it. Your opponent splits, and you don't try to follow her. Your allies swarm as the resistance flees. You'll face the bold Sylph another day. After the fight, you let the survivors run and reunite. Your losses are insignificant, but you took down many of the opponent's soldiers. You make camp to rest and prepare an area to tend to the wounded. You won't be able to stay there for long. You wouldn't want to risk running into the Resistance army just yet. The next stop is Satrapor, and the rebels now have a good idea of the force they're up against. After a few days of marching, you camp outside the walls of Satrapor. Leon has given the order to attack at dawn. You'll lead the assault against the city walls. The soldiers and siege weapons will follow your command. As first light tints the sky, the other generals wait for your instructions. How should you begin the offense? The siege engines must be the first to attack. You start testing Satrapor's defenses, pressing them harshly. The first part of the battle is clearly in your favor. Now, you have to choose which troop you'll call on next. Would you keep attacking from a distance, deploying the archers? Will you try to take down the walls as quickly as possible, using the foot soldiers? You're a good commander. Before risking the lives of many men, you prefer tiring out the enemy, creating a good cover for your soldiers. Both archers and war engines are producing precisely the result you'd hoped for. Now, you have to assail the walls. You can follow your men, or analyze the situation before risking your life. You'd rather wait a bit more. Jumping right into the fight so early is too dangerous. Then, you notice something strange. Leon decided to step in. A huge chunk of stone is punching the city gate. Blows are so powerful that it doesn't take long to tear it down. You have to seize the moment, so you order everyone to pour inside. You and the soldiers head through the main road, killing and maiming as you go along. The battle grows more intense until you barely understand where you are. And a thunderous roar throws you to the ground, caked in dust. A figure towers over you as you get back up, surrounded by corpses. It's no friend of yours. A sylph appears before you. She drops her bow and unsheaths the sword and a dagger, the same weapons you're bearing. Glaring at each other, you start circling one another. She looks like a solid warrior. You'll have to be careful. Could I have your name before I kill you? You ask caustically, trying to get on her nerves.
And Corin, and the braggart is?
And Kalimo. Suddenly, a memory flashes before your eyes. She's the sylph you faced a few days ago. The one who killed your Greystorm. Now you have the chance to avenge your friend, and rage washes over you like never before. Your trusty ride was killed by this whore! How should you begin the fight now? You start exchanging a few quick hits, trying to test out your skills and weaknesses. Being of about the same strength and abilities, a single well-dealt blow could decide the outcome of the duel. Having had enough of this introduction, you take a few steps back to catch your breath. It's time to decide how you'll take this. Will you keep a defensive stance, giving her the initiative? Or would you rather attack first? You don't like waiting, so you'd rather control the situation from the start. You wouldn't want the sylph to have any way out, so you press her with a rapid series of blows and cuts, forcing her to back out. And Corin is overwhelmed by your assault. You're specimens of two new races whose combat techniques have been styled over the years on your new essence. Elf and sylph, agility is part of your features. You're not shocked to see her quickly recover from your initial assault to retaliate right away. The warrior carries in a flurry of blows, trying to wear you out. The last blows are particularly fierce. She's targeting your foreleg with her sword and thrusting right at you with her dagger. How should you stop this incoming threat? Should you parry the reverse slash with your sword, deflecting the dagger's thrust with your dagger? Or do the exact opposite? You'd rather have a simple fight, not too elaborate, just to be sure. Carrying out a smooth movement with both your sword and your dagger, you stop the woman's attack. Now it's your turn, and she's leaning forward, which could be a great advantage for you. You could exploit her current stance, moving to the side to trip her, sending her to the ground, face down. Otherwise, you could try to break her guard with 2 sudden wrist movements, punching her to the face with your dagger-wielding hand. A direct thrust is out of the question, seeing the rapidity of your action and your current position. Using inertia to your advantage, you employ your opponent's position to trip her. Suddenly, you jump sideways, carrying along the movement of her weapons after you've countered the assault. The warrior stumbles forward, then falls and drops her sword as she tries to jump back up. Her agility is impressive. She sprung back up despite your flawless maneuver. However, you have the lead now, and you need to make the best of it. Will you enter within her range of attack and drive your sword through her belly? Or wear her out, keeping her at a safe distance, trying to wound her? You're wise enough not to give in to the fight's rage. You keep her at a safe distance with your sword. Having a wider range, your move forces her to stay away and avoid getting hurt, which she somewhat fails at. It doesn't take long for you to wound her arms, and she resorts to a final, desperate attempt. Sayari needs to enter within your range to kill you. You've been working quite a bit to bring her here. Now, you just have to finish your move. The woman is done for. Letting her close in, will you deflect her dagger with your sword, trying to finish her with your dagger? Or parry her blow with your dagger, rotating your longer blade to cut off her head? A dynamic fighting style is always the best choice. You successfully trick your opponent, who thought you'd just parry her attack without deflecting it. Now, her guard is completely open, at the mercy of your dagger, which springs against her throat, slitting it. The woman drops dead to the ground in a pool of blood. You've won this fight, but now you need to run and see how Leon is doing. Heading to the center of the city, looking for Leon, you walk upon an upsetting scene. A man wielding a blood-stained rapier, and the wizard, lifeless on the ground. Leon, your friend, has been killed. Despite your nature, the bond between the two of you forces a tear out of your eyes. You want to destroy his murderer. Will you gut him with your sword, or attack him from the distance? Lifting your arm, you quickly release a bolt from your crossbow. Hearing the trigger, the man jumps to the side and the quarrel only wounds his arm wielding the blade. He grins in pain as he takes the rapier with his other hand. This could be an advantage for you. Who are you? You ask.
Daragast. And you are?
Of course. Only he could have defeated Leon. It's only proper for him to know the name of the man who'll kill him. And Kalimo, you reply before charging at him. You start unleashing a quick series of fierce blows, and he struggles to keep up. However, he still parries and deflects all your attacks. He's obviously ambidextrous. Since he's wounded, will you try to exhaust him, or will you try to finish him right away with a feint and a quick thrust? However skilled you may be, you're not a warrior. You have to find some way to employ your assassin's skills. You start flurrying your opponent blow after blow, and the wounds start slowing him down. If you want the chance to shoot a final bolt from your crossbow, you'll have to close in. You lure Dargast into a trap, letting him believe you have a weak guard. Dargast bites the bait and tries to thrust at you. Then, you jump to the side and trigger the wrist crossbow. The quarrel stabs him right below the chin, and the fighter drops dead. Blood spurts from his throat. Dargast no longer being a threat, you approach Leon. As you walk to him, Leon starts getting back up. It's incredible. You thought he was dead, but he was just unconscious. Leon, you're alive.
Yes.
You shake hands like warriors and hug like brothers.
How's the battle proceeding?
The wizard asks you. Let's go find out. Wielding your weapons anew, you head back in the fight. Amidst the clashing steel and explosions from the siege engines, your men's morale is reinvigorated by your presence, and you win the battle in a matter of hours. Over the next few days, Leon starts shaping the new satrapor and calls you to a private meeting. Did you call for me?
And Kalimo, sit.
He replies from behind a desk, pointing at a chair. You gladly oblige and wait for him to start speaking.
See this map? There's an entire continent to be conquered, and many others to be explored. To do all of this, I need you. I want it all. All the power I can achieve dominating other peoples. If you desire, the next nation I will conquer will be yours. Or would you rather have part of Kael'Sanar? Otherwise, you could become an explorer and discover the exotic beauties of the new lands.
Leon's offers are all tempting. He's letting you decide your own future. Discovering new lands and treasures is intriguing. I could become your explorer, your envoy in the new world. The wizard smiles amusingly.
Head northwest. I'll give you a royal permit and a new assignment. You're to set sail to new, incredible adventures. A toast!
He pours 2 glasses of red wine and raises his chalice to you. You've been through a lot together, and now the future is more rosy than ever.